Good afternoon. What's up? So, how are we doing today? So, as you know, we started this wonderful small journey yesterday, the journey of making ourselves absolutely amazing at vocabulary, right? So, I welcome you to that session once again, where in fact, instead of mastering vocabulary, I tend to focus more on the process. And the process involves a strategy, and that is what this session is all about. So, do you need a recap? In order to do that, can you quickly subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that so far? आप में से ज्यादातर लोगों ने तो वैसे सब्सक्राइब कर ही रखा होगा, नहीं किया तो कर लो यार. और don't forget to share it. Don't forget to press the bell icon so that you do not miss out on a single high quality session that we bring to you. So vocab strategy में हमने कल बात की थी that we need to add a catalyst to our journey, and that catalyst is this session. और उसमें फिर we talked about learning high frequency words, we talked about learning association or different ways of creating associations, and in the process we actually went on to learn a few words, right? So if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, make sure that you send it my way. आज हम उससे आगे चलेंगे. A lot of people like association, so we'd go ahead and move ahead from there. So I welcome you to India's largest online test prep platform called Gradeup. You are with me. I am Vikrant, and we are working together to ensure that we go on to become absolutely killer at vocab. भला दोस्तों ने अगर हमें शशि थरूर नहीं बोला तो फिर क्या काम किया, right? So चलिए आइए. So today, अरे ये क्यों आ रहे हैं पहले, एक मिनट. So today otherwise we plan to go ahead and talk about association based methods. एक मिनट दीजिए जरा मुझे, and I will take you towards association based methods. So instead of creating your own associations, which by the way is an absolutely wonderful idea, you must go ahead and continue to create your own associations. But instead of focusing only on the associations all for yourself, you can actually tap into the associations that others have created, the associations that others have made for you. So अगर आप बाहर मार्केट में जाएंगे, you'd find a lot of tools whose aim is to teach you vocabulary through associations. So किस तरह के tools हैं वो, let us go ahead and dive into those things today. So number one, have you heard of something called root, prefix, suffix method? It is also known as etymological approach. So in this approach, you basically look at the origin of the word, and one way of looking at the origin is that you say that a word can be made up of some root words and certain prefixes or suffixes that are added to them. For instance, let's have a look at this word, vivisection. Anybody who would like to tell me what vivisection is? Anybody who can throw some light on it? What is vivisection? क्या होना चाहिए? So आपको ध्यान है एक, let me give you a similar word, dissection. Similarly, you have vivisection. So vivisection is the practice of dissecting live animals for the purpose of scientific research or education, है ना? कुछ साइंस में रिसर्च करने के लिए, कुछ सीखने या सिखाने के लिए जब जानवरों को काटा जाता है, अपने ये बहुत सारे साइंस स्टूडेंट्स करते हैं। पहले स्कूलों में ही हुआ करता था, अभी ग्रेजुअली उसे इंक्रीज कर करके एटलीस्ट कॉलेजेस तक ले गए कि स्कूल में नहीं करेंगे, है ना? थोड़ा क्रुएल्टी है ना। Now, if you look at it from the perspective of the etymological approach, you'd say that it is made up of three things. The three things are root word 1, vivi, which means life. Root word 2, which is sect, that means to cut. And a suffix. Suffix is something that is added to a word added to the end of a word. So in this case, this ION basically tells you that this word is a noun. It is talking about a practice. Right? Oh, Siddharth, frog. Array, I have dissected frogs, rats, cockroaches. I still remember that vividly. Man, that used to be horrible. But that's how it was. Thankfully, times have changed. So now you know how easy it is to retain the meaning of this word once you know these root words. To cut somebody who is alive, to cut an animal who is alive, right? But then here is a question that you may have in your mind. Instead of retaining these three things, why can't I, or why won't I directly learn the meaning of the word? Why do I need to look at these three things? That's so silly. And you'd be right, but the advantage here is that every root word can potentially lead to more words. हर एक root word का इस्तेमाल करके कुछ और words भी तो बनते हैं. So when you learn one root word, you actually get to learn all the other words that are made from that root word. Hey, for example, let's pick up a root word and then check. So here is one. Viva, vivi or vita, which means life. So now you know there's this word called vitamin. Necessary for life. You know, they give you life. Or how about vital? If I tell you that your contribution is vital to my project, then it means that your contribution is quite critical to my project. Okay, it is essential, because without your contribution, my project cannot even live. My project cannot even survive. Then revitalize. Revitalize is to re-energize. So somebody who is very tired, somebody who is exhausted, drained, if you put the energy back into that person, then you revitalize him. है ना? वो लाइफ को हम हिंदी में जान भी तो बोलते हैं ना, तो जान डाल दी. So that revitalize. एक कैप्सूल भी आता है, याद करो, revital, रेनबैक्सी का. That's what they claim. अब उन्हें पता ही नहीं है, लोगों को revitalize का मीनिंग नहीं पता होगा. But then that's how it works. Here is the next one, vivid. Vivid is life-like. If, for example, this is a word that a lot of TV companies use, they tell you that they give you vivid picture quality. So picture quality that is so amazing that you'd forget you're watching TV. You'd think that you are there witnessing the scene live. You're witnessing the scene firsthand. If somebody gives you vivid description of a place, the description is so rich in details, that you feel as if you were there witnessing it all by yourself. So that's vivid. Let's check more words. Revive. Revive is to bring something or someone back to life. So those of you who used to play PUBG will probably know what revive is, right? Then survive. Survive is when you manage to live under some very difficult, very challenging circumstances. So in a situation where people all around you are dying, but you still manage to hold on and live, you survive. Huh? So Titanic, the heroine survived. In this COVID world, we are somehow, not even COVID world, it's more about the situation around us, we are somehow managing to survive. Then you have viable. Viable is capable of living, capable of surviving, capable of growing. So if you've brought a viable business plan to me, it means that your business plan is such that it is likely to be successful, it is likely to grow. 90% of the entrepreneurial ventures fail, right? But if you're one of those other 10%, viable. And here is a word that we use for people, vivacious. It's an adjective that we use to refer to those individuals who are full of life. I don't know why, I generally tend to relate it to Ranveer Singh. He's always high on energy, high on life. The enthusiasm is generally spilling out of him. It's very bubbly, right? So that's vivacious. You can use that. So you notice learning just this one word can help you retain these 7. And why these 7? You actually have even more. There you go. Viviparous are those animals that give birth to a child. So it's a child that comes out of the mother's body. And then you have oviparous animals that lay eggs. How about vivisection, the word that we started with? Now, dissecting live animals, cutting live animals. Then there is another word that Krishnakant Gautam had already mentioned in the comment box. Bon vivant. Krishna, would you also like to share the meaning? Chal main bata hi deta hu yaar. So bon vivant is a person who lives a luxurious life. पता है, अच्छा खाना, अच्छा पीना, अच्छा पहनना, है ना, फैंसी कार्स, प्राइवेट जेट्स, रेयर स्कॉच, फैंसी फूड. सो इसमें जो born है, this born basically means good. And vivant is etymologically, थोड़ा जुगाड़ करें तो liver, a good liver, a person who lives a good life. So I hope that most of us are aspiring to be bon vivants. Next, first up, the pronunciation of this word. I am talking about this because I've seen a lot of people in my hometown getting this wrong. We have a brand of incense sticks. एक brand है अगरबत्ती का, और मेरे शहर में सब लोग उसको बोलते हैं जोई. किसी को वो अगरबत्ती चाहिए होती है तो बोलते हैं यार जोई अगरबत्ती दे दो, जोई. That's not the correct pronunciation. The pronunciation is joie. Joie de vivre. So joie de vivre basically means joys of life. जिंदगी के मजे, जिंदगी का आनंद, जिंदगी का सुख. That is joie de vivre. Okay? और आगे चलते हैं. ये वाइवा तो शायद आप में से ज्यादातर लोगों को ऑलरेडी पता है. रिमेंबर, वाइवा वोशी इज लैटिन फॉर एन इन person examination. So normally when you have exams, you go to the examination hall, you write your answers on a notebook, and it is that notebook which is evaluated. It is that notebook which is checked. यार कैट देने बैठोगे तो तुम तो खाली बबल्स सिलेक्ट करके आते हो, बबल्स के बेसिस पे देखता है यार ये बंदा कौन है, लेना है नहीं लेना है. But there are times when the examiner says, ना, मुझे कॉपी नहीं चाहिए, मुझे वो बंदा मेरे सामने चाहिए, उसे पेश करो और मैं उससे सवाल पूछूंगा. So that in-person examination where the person, an alive person, faces the exam, that's called a viva voce. Sultan of Brunei, absolutely. Most of the billionaires, Siddharth, most of the billionaires really. Anybody who has more than $100 million would actually be a bon vivant. Okay, next, co-vivant. Co-vivant are two people or people who live together. So if Rakesh and I are co-vivant, तो हम दोनों साथ में रहते हैं. and I'm ending with another word that is used for people, and the word is convivial. So convivial refers to a person who is very social. It refers to a person who is very outgoing. He refers to a person who loves parties, who loves to be surrounded by others. He's not a loner. He does not like to be alone or stay alone. He always wants to be in the middle of the action. He always wants to be surrounded by people. Now, Vishal has asked a question. Yaar, can you get a list of prefix and suffixes? Absolutely, Vishal. There are plenty of books, tools, resources that are available online. In our batches of Gradeup Super, when we take people through vocabulary classes, we also send them PDF notes, right? So those PDFs actually contain lists of prefixes and suffixes. Until then, if you think that this is an approach that you enjoy, and this is an approach that you think you would like to follow, then here is an immensely popular book. It's called Word Power Made Easy. It's a book written by this author called Norman Lewis. बहुत पॉपुलर किताब है यार. मतलब तुम्हें क्या बताऊं, इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज के हॉस्टल्स में तो ना यार, मतलब एटलीस्ट एक टाइम था वेयर इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज हॉस्टल्स में वर्ड पावर मेड इजी वाज लाइक द बाइबल. आजकल पता नहीं है कि नहीं है. So I'm saying it was like the Bible because everybody bought it, nobody read it. लेके सबने रख रखी थी, पढ़ी किसी एक ने नहीं थी. So that's how it really worked. So आप चाहें तो इस किताब से शुरू कर सकते हैं. अब कैसे शुरू करें? This book has 47 sessions plus a word list. So what you can do is that you can go through one session a day, plus you can read the word list for 10 minutes a day. So that's how you can go ahead and read this. Vaibhav, I can speak it out. So it is joie de vivre. Joie de vivre. Okay. Then, अच्छा चलो सुब्रत, nice to know that things are still the same. हाँ, क्या मतलब हॉस्टल्स में क्या क्या वर्ड पावर मेड इजी के अलावा और भी काफी तरह की किताबें होती थी जो मैट्रेसेस के नीचे होती थी. हाँ. I think technology has changed that for sure, I've heard. So ये सब है यार. तो इस किताब से शुरू कर सकते हैं. You can go ahead and start with this book. So that's one way out. That's one approach. Okay, you can learn words through root words. But then this approach has a limitation. What is that limitation? We have approximately 300 root words that have contributed a lot of words to the present English. So 300 root words, let us say that each root word has contributed 10 words. So you'd be able to learn only 3,000 words. What about the rest of the words? And that is where people suggest alternate approaches. Approaches like grouping method or clustering method. It says that root word approach works because you are learning words in a group, and that group is built around a root. But it is not necessary for you to build a group around a root. You can build a group around any theme, isn't it? For example, I always emphasize that we must work on our communication skills. So you'd see different types of speakers on the basis of their speech habits. है ना, अलग अलग तरह के स्पीकर्स होते हैं ना, क्योंकि उनके हैबिट्स बोलने वाले, कम्युनिकेशन वाले अलग अलग होते हैं. So चलो, let me tell you about different types of speakers. So there are speakers who are taciturn or reticent. These are people who do not talk. ये बोलते ही नहीं हैं या ये बोलना पसंद नहीं करते हैं. Right? These are people who do not like to talk. Then there are people who are laconic. कल हमने किया था ना, people who use very few words to express themselves. सो ये ना पूरी बात भी नहीं बोलते हैं, आधी अधूरी बात ही बोलते हैं. Laconic actually comes from the word lacuna. Now lacuna means gap. So these are people who will leave gaps when they talk to you, right? Then you have people who are pithy or succinct. These are people who are very concise. They do not leave any gap. They do not leave any gap whatsoever, right? But they use great economy of words. ये वो लोग हैं जो कम से कम शब्दों में अपनी पूरी बात बोलते हैं. हिंदी में एक मुहावरा है, गागर में सागर. That's the kind of thing that is conveyed using pithy or succinct. और इसके बाद में है वो ideal speakers, जिन्हें आप बोलते हैं articulate और eloquent. So these are people who express themselves very well. They are speakers who use adequate number of words and are able to create the right kind of impact. Krishnakant, absolutely. You can use terse as well. The only difference will be terse will become slightly negative. Terse is concise to the point of being rude. Right? That's to the point of being rude. जैसे मेरा एक्सपीरियंस रहा, कई बार ये बैंक्स वैंक्स में जाओ ना, कुछ गवर्नमेंट वाले, तो मैं एक दिन गया, ज्यादातर बार बहुत पोलाइटली डील करते हैं स्टाफ मेंबर्स, बट एक दिन मैं गया बैंक में, मैंने जाकर के कुछ काम पूछा, एंड द पर्सन डिड नॉट इवन लुक अप. नो आई कॉन्टैक्ट, नथिंग इज दैट. साथ वाले काउंटर पे जाओ. दैट्स टर्स. ओके, तो बुरा लगता है वो थोड़ा. ओके, देन अब थोड़ा आगे चलें. यू कैन हैव पीपल हु आर वर्बोज और प्रोलिक्स. सो दीज आर पीपल हु यूज मोर वर्ड्स देन नेसेसरी. तो ये वो लोग हैं जो, पता है, 10 वर्ड्स की बात 15 वर्ड्स में बोलेंगे. और इससे भी थोड़ा आगे चलें तो यू हैव पीपल हु आर लोक्वेशियस. सो लोक्वेशियस कौन होते हैं? Loquacious people use many more words than necessary. ये 10 वर्ड की बात 20-20 वर्ड्स में बोलते हैं, राइट? सो उन्हें आप कहते हैं loquacious. और इसके भी आगे जाया जा सकता है. The next word is garrulous. अब देखो, ध्यान से सुनना. From word number 1 to word number 6, the person has something to say. उसके दिमाग में कुछ ideas हैं, thoughts हैं, विचार हैं. He has something to convey. But when he's taciturn or reticent, he does not talk. When he's laconic, he uses very few words to convey it, leaves gaps, does not even state the complete thing. पिथी में concise, articulate में adequate number of words, verbose में ज्यादा words, loquacious में काफी ज्यादा words. But he has something to say. Now in your life, you may also meet people who have absolutely nothing to say. They have no point to make. But that does not stop them from talking. So जिंदगी में आपको कुछ ऐसे लोग मिलेंगे जो who talk nonsense and who will talk non-stop. बिल्कुल बेसिर पैर की ऊल जलूल फिजूल बातें करते हैं. मेरी है एक, आई हैव एन आंट. शादियों में उनसे मुलाकात होती है, सब लोग उनसे बच करके चलते हैं, क्योंकि उनके साथ बैठ गए तो 2-2 घंटे नॉन स्टॉप बोल सकती हैं. 2 घंटे उनसे बात करने के बाद अब उठेंगे तो आपको तो और सोचेंगे कि यार बात हुई क्या थी, तो यू ड्रॉप ब्लैंक. यूड बी लाइक, पता नहीं यार, कुछ सब्सटेंस भी नहीं था, बट इतनी देर बोल लिए. सो दैट्स garrulous. और इसके भी ऊपर यू हैव पीपल हु सफर फ्रॉम लोगोरिया. बाकी सारे वर्ड्स यहाँ पे एडजेक्टिव्स हैं. दिस इज द ओनली नाउन. इफ somebody suffers from लोगोरिया, तो मतलब उसे ना बोलने की बीमारी हो गई है, वो चाहकर भी कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकता है, वर्ड्स बाहर आएंगे ही आएंगे. सो लोगोरिया इज बेसिकली verbal diarrhea. You know diarrhea, when you have an upset stomach and stuff must come out. Similarly, if somebody has logoria, it's the words that must come out. It's a condition where he cannot even stay quiet. You can threaten him, you can beat him, but he'd struggle to zip the lip. Okay, so that's how it really works. Righto? So if you think you like this particular method, if you think this suits you, and you would like to kind of work with this, then you can, there is another set of books. Okay, एक सजेशन दे सकता हूं मैं आपको. एक सीरीज है किताबों की. इट्स अ सीरीज ऑफ बुक्स, इट्स नॉट अ सिंगल बुक. इट्स कॉल्ड इंग्लिश वोकैब्युलरी इन यूज. This is a book published by Cambridge University Press. Maybe you can use this, right? Then you have visual methods. In visual methods, you learn words through connecting them to an image. For example, here is a word. Okay, the word is incognito. So let's say if you travel incognito, then you're traveling in such a way that nobody gets to recognize you. So when you are incognito, you hide your true identity. You can be an undercover operator. You can be a very famous actor who's just trying to avoid getting recognized. Okay, so for example, now let's link it with a word. This is Kamal Hassan from this movie called Chachi 420, or in Tamil it was Avvai Shanmugam, if I remember it correctly. So in this movie, Kamal Hassan went to his in-laws' house incognito. Or for that matter, most of the superheroes, you know, Spider-Man, Superman, they either wear a mask or they happen to have an alternate persona, their alter ego, so that their true identity, so that they can remain incognito. Right? So that's how it really works. So there are books that help you learn words through this particular approach as well. So you can try those things out. Okay, so that's another way that you can approach. These books turn out to be a little more expensive because every page gives you one image, and along with that image you happen to have a meaning or two, and therefore but it is effective. Okay, so efficiency aside, it is effective. हाँ विशाल, absolutely you can use it for Amir Khan too in quite a few of his movies. अभी वो नहीं आ रही उसकी लाल सिंह चड्ढा, उसमें ऐसा ही है. Similarly, you can use auditory methods. So in auditory methods, you can either use the sound of the word to create an association. For instance, remember yesterday I linked abstemious with abstain? Or you can listen to the audio file of a word list. So मैंने जो आपको बैरन्स GRE बोला यार, उसकी किताब तो आती है, पता है उसकी ऑडियो फाइल भी अवेलेबल. So most of us do listen to music now every now and then. So you can just keep an audio file on your phone and start listening to the audio file off and on. Similarly, you have audio visuals. So there are plenty of videos. For example, this is one of them. There are a few words that I taught you. So you basically learning that using an audio visual mechanism, because there is somebody who is sharing this with you using a video and sounds and maybe at times even images. So you can also tap more such videos, and I will also be bringing more such videos for you on our app. So there are sessions that are open to there are sessions that are going to be open to everybody. I'd run a series on vocabulary, so you'd get to learn it through there as well. Okay, so that's audio visual method. So these are different association based methods that you can use. And here is one last suggestion from me, and that is you can also choose to make your own word list. Whenever you come across a new word, pick up your notebook, jot it down there. Okay, so let me give you a quick summary of the express way that I've shared with you. You can work with a word list. You can use revision and association to enhance your retention of the word list. You can also use association-based tools, association-based methods. So these are the 5 methods that we've talked about today. And finally, get into this habit of making your own word list. So that is what can be done. From where can I learn vocabulary? But then one very important question that is still left unanswered is how to learn vocabulary. So here is your answer to the how to. Let me make or take the liberty of making a daily plan for you. So what is it that I want you to do? I want you to take out 30 minutes from your schedule every day. If you find 30 difficult, you can take out 20. But take out at least 20 minutes, preferably 30. In these 30 minutes, the only thing that you do is learning new words. You will not combine it with any other purpose. You will not say कि अच्छा मैं ना book read कर रहा हूँ साथ में चलो words भी हो जाएंगे या newspaper read कर रहा हूँ words भी हो जाएंगे. ना, the only focus should be on acquiring more words. And how can you really acquire those words? From where should you acquire those words? You can use all those tools and methods that we already know, the methods that I have just shared with you. Apart from that, use some secondary methods too. You know, every day you get these minutes that generally go waste. For example, you have an online class to attend or you have a meeting to attend. Now, the moment you log in, does the class begin? Does the meeting start? अरे तुम डाइनिंग टेबल पे जाके बैठे, तुम्हारे बैठते ही खाना आ जाता है क्या? और अभी तो लॉकडाउन चल रहे हैं यार, मैं ग्रोसरी खरीदने जाता हूँ तो लाइन में लग करके लेना पड़ता है, लाइन में खड़ा हूँ, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग नॉर्म्स फॉलो करके. So what do we do in such times? What do we do in those minutes? You can learn words, but you can learn words only when you have a tool available with you all the times. So you can invest in buying vocabulary flashcards. Well, you can install an app on your phone that helps you learn vocabulary. And every day, take out a little bit of time to make your own word list. So let me talk a little more about secondary methods. In case you choose to invest in flashcards, pick up 2 cards a day that give you words starting from different letters, and whenever you have some spare time, you can read the cards. Or you can go ahead and make your own word list. But there are 2 things that I want you to keep in mind. Number 1, your target is to write 1 word every day in that word list. Okay, if you want to write more, feel free to write more, but you should not write more than 5 words a day. Once you start doing that, it leads to burnout and you'd not be regular. Moreover, do not put in more than 3 words a page. एक पेज पे 3 से ज्यादा वर्ड्स भी मत लिखिए. थोड़ा एम्प्टी स्पेस छोड़िए, मार्जिन्स छोड़िए, खाली दिखना चाहिए वो पेज, है ना. तो क्या किया, पेज पे एक वर्ड लिखा, एक लाइन छोड़ के मीनिंग लिखा, एक लाइन छोड़ के सेंटेंस बना दिया, फिर थोड़ा गैप छोड़ के अगला वर्ड, राइट. वो एक पेज पे 3 से ज्यादा वर्ड्स यूज मत करें. Yes, Krishnakant, absolutely. Magoosh has published an excellent app for vocabulary. You can use that. Why not? So, once again, let me summarize the entire session for you. These are the kind of things that we talked about: word list, revision, associations, association-based methods. And here is a quick summary of the daily plan that I want you to follow. So that's for vocab strategy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. A like from you will be fantabulous. Okay, and apart from that, I want you to know that we have a 55% discount going on at the moment. You can use Save 55 on to claim the discount on Gradeup Super Subscription. We are starting a new batch for score 9 for helping you score more than 99 percentile, and plenty of features in this batch, as you can actually go ahead and look at it. Nobody else gives you a course as comprehensive as the one that we are striving to create. Besides, there is a short course running for Maharashtra CET if you are targeting that exam, and the CAT 22 course is also now online. The enrollments are happening for that, and you can think of joining it. There is an extra discount of 10% too for those who are new And this is just a glimpse of the faculty pool that you will be working with here in these classes. If you have any other query, don't forget to get in touch with us at this number. And on this coming Sunday, we will have a conversation with Komal Agarwal. She has done her master's from IIM Lucknow, and she has a lot of insights to share. We wanted to do it the previous Sunday, we could not. There was some family emergency, but this Sunday, I look forward to meeting you in Walk the Talk with Komal Agarwal. Although it is lockdown, so we won't be walking, we'd be doing more of the talking, but we'd also take your questions during that session. So put it on your calendar and make sure that you follow this. So that's it from me today. I look forward to meeting you guys once again at 12 tomorrow. हम हर रोज मंडे टू थर्सडे मिला करेंगे 12 बजे इसी चैनल पे, और फ्राइडे से संडे 3 दिन आप मिला करेंगे सावित्री मैम को. तो 12 बजे आपका हर रोज लैंग्वेज से रिलेटेड चीजों के लिए, कुछ प्रिपरेशन से जुड़ी जेनरिक चीजों के लिए दैट गो बियॉन्ड द कैट, है ना, ग्रुप डिस्कशन, वैट, प्रोफाइल बिल्डिंग, उसके लिए रिजर्व्ड है. सो do keep coming back, and I look forward to meeting you tomorrow with another fresh, highly useful session for you. Take care, enjoy your day, stay safe.